what we saved in Canada staying underground for almost 2 years is what today's video is about. I'm going to share all the savings we made as new immigrants in Canada by staying underground. And what I mean by that, I will share with you that as well. But just give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Pakistani immigrant family in Canada. So first things first, what do I mean when I say we stayed underground for not exactly 2 years yet, but 19 months. So underground means being in a basement, because when you live in a basement, that's below the ground level. So you could say it's underground. Obviously, it's a legal basement that we live in. People live in basements that are not even legal. Some people do. And I can tell that would not be a very good experience because it's not ventilated enough. It's not bright enough. But we've got a good basement to ourselves. And we started renting in February 2023. And the best part of this was we landed in Canada as new immigrants on 17 February 2023, and we needed an accommodation right away. Principally, the landlord could have charged us for the full month because we had got the reservation for us prior to coming to Canada because we've signed the contract from our home country. But the landlord was nice enough to waive off the first 15 days worth of rent. That saved us a good $900 on the total, because the total rent that we pay for our basement, and that's just a one-bed basement, is 1,800 Canadian dollars, and that includes all utilities and bills and that, meaning we have to just pay straight and final $1,800. So the first month that we landed in Canada, we just had to pay $900. Subsequently, we have been paying $1,800 per month. Now, as I said, we've been in basement ever since we landed in Canada. So what expenses would we have incurred had we opted for a ground level accommodation or a townhouse or an apartment or a detached home? Let's go with a townhouse. Let's compare the rates that are going on these days. See, when you live in a townhouse, you at least get a double-story home, because the ground floor is where there's a kitchen and dining area and drawing room, etc., and a lounge, and the first floor is where you get all the beds. Well, in Canada, they just say first and second floor. The country that I come from, and especially in the Middle East, they say ground and then first and second floor and onwards. So in any case, townhouse comprises 2 stories in total, and you have the whole home to yourself. It's not like a detached home where you would have the exteriors of your home completely detached from those of your neighbors. There's just a wall separating your living space from that of your neighbors. That's how the townhouses are arranged and constructed and built. So the present rent, including all utilities and bills, that includes the gas, hydro, and internet and electricity, goes up to around 3,300 Canadian dollars. And this I'm talking about Canada, you could say GTA. You might find even more expensive townhouses on rent in Toronto or Brampton or Mississauga, but in GTA area, this is kind of the trend that's going on. Like, you'd find townhouses on rent without all utilities, it would be around 2,800-ish, and when you include the cost of all utilities, it goes up to around 3,300 Canadian dollars. So subtract 1,800 from 3,300 and you get $1,500 per month. We were fortunate to have found a landlord that was good enough for us to waive off the half month's rent for the first month. We might not have got such a landlord. So let's assume a townhouse on which the landlord would not give us any discount at all, even on the first month of renting. So it would be starting from February 2023, 3,300 per month. So multiply 3,300 by 19 months that we have so far been in Canada for, how much that becomes. So that would be 62,700 Canadian dollars all in all. Now compare that to what we actually paid was 32,400 and add 900 of the first month to it, so it would be 33,300 Canadian dollars. So it's almost half and half. So you could say we saved 29,400 Canadian dollars staying underground for 18 months in Canada. Now, the savings are right in front of you, as I have explained already and described how I reached that number. But would I advise the newcomers in Canada to live in basement? Must say, a basement living is not for everybody. People are used to much luxurious lifestyle countries they come from. Some come from the Middle East, some come from very rich and wealthy families from Pakistan, India. So to each their own. It also depends upon how big your family is, because it's not easy to fit as a family in a one-bed basement. We got little daughters. Our daughters were little. The younger was around 2 years old, the elder was around 5 years old. So we could manage with a one-bed basement. But if you have just as many family members as I do, but your children are bigger, then obviously you need at least a 2-bed basement, even if you opted for a basement. And a 2-bed basement would not come cheaper than presently around $2,100 all in. So that would be up by at least 300 Canadian dollars. So you have to see if you can survive in a basement. If you don't know what my basement looks like, I've made a complete video in which I have given a detailed tour of my basement. You can go and see what kind of basement we have, and decide accordingly, because this is a very important decision as new immigrants in Canada and can save you a whole lot if you make the right decision at the right time. Because once you sign the contract, it's good for at least a year, and then even after that you would not have any discounts. Your rent is only expected to go up once the contract expires. So do your research, study the rates, the rents, and whether you can live in a basement as new immigrants. I understand as new immigrants we also didn't have any high hopes. We had absolutely no idea of this country, whether we'd be able to even fit in long term or not. That's why we started out with the cheapest, and as time went by we figured this is the most cost effective and economical option of living in Canada, so we continued with that. We know some families who live in basements only for like 3 or 4 months, and then they shift into an apartment or a townhouse or anything like that. So that is the research you have to do for yourself, understanding your priorities, preferences, and how adjustable and flexible you are to the changes in life as you move from your home country to Canada as new immigrants. Hopefully today's video would have enlightened you and given you a good idea of the rental rates prevailing in Canada, especially talking about Ontario. Subscribe to Pakistani Immigrant Family in Canada for more of such valuable insights and reflections and sharing of experiences. Hope to see you in the next video, and I welcome your comments in the comment section below as well. Until next time, take care and bye.